Welcome to Godly Play on this Sunday. But maybe the first thing I should tell you is that usually in August, if we were meeting at the church, we would not have Godly Play. If you remember, sometimes we would worship outside, but we would certainly all worship together in the sanctuary. But since we're at home, I decided that maybe I would share a couple of books with you instead of Godly Play. And the first book that I want to share with you is one that I heard just recently and that I decided to buy for my grandchildren. So that's the book I'm going to share with you. But first of all, let's greet one another. God be with you.
And also with you.
And then we look over and see on the church wall calendar that we are moving through the green and growing time. So now it's time to get ready to listen to this story. And the book is called You Belong Here, and it's by someone called M.H. Clark. And the reason that I chose this book, the word belong means that you are part of something. And all of us belong. We belong to a family. Sometimes we belong to a church, like you belong to this church, and we belong to a community. And so I thought this would be a good time for us to remind you that we are very glad that you are part of this church community. So you belong here. The stars belong in the deep night sky, and the moon belongs there too, and the winds belong in each place they blow by, and I belong here with you. The whales and the fishes belong in the sea, and the waves belong by the shore, and the dunes where the grasses belong to be, because grasses are what dunes are for. And the trees belong in the wild wood, and the deer belong in their shade, and the birds belong so safe and good and warm in the nests that they've made. And you belong where you love to be, and after each day is through, you will always belong right next to me, and I'll belong next to you. The frogs and the lilies belong in the lake, where the water is silver and clear, and the turtles belong in the homes that they make, in the sand where the water is near. And the otters belong by the banks of the stream, and the cattails belong there too, and the carp belong where the water runs green, and the shadows all run blue. And you belong right here where you're home, and where I hold you close. Of all the wonders I've ever known, you're the one I love the most. The hares belong in the desert air, where the rocks are red and gold, and those rocks belong with the comets out there, which flash bright when the night turns cold. The foxes belong in the high canyon hills, and the sage there belongs in the sun, and the lizards belong in the light, sitting still until they are ready to run. The crickets belong in the old stone wall, and the bees belong in the clover, just as winter belongs in its place after fall, before the new year starts over. And you are a dream that the world once dreamt, and now you are part of its song. That's why you are here, in the place where you're meant, for this is right where you belong. The pines belong on the mountainsides, tucked under their blankets of snow, and the bears belong in the caves where they hide whenever the storms start to blow. Some creatures were made for the land or the air, and others were made for the sea. Each creature is perfectly home right there in the place it belongs to be. And no matter what places you travel to, what wonders you choose to see, I will always belong right here with you, and you'll always belong with me. So now that you've heard this story about belonging and how we are all part of God's creation, and that our story is part of the great story, I wonder what your work will be. And as you go, I'm going to read a couple of lines again as a way to bless you on your way. You are a dream that the world once dreamt, and now you are part of its song. That's why you are here, in the place where you're meant, for this is right where you belong. Amen.